All right, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, Day 42. So I'll skip the standard intro. That's getting a bit tired now. If not, you can just read the screen. So what we'll do today is continue on with some of the user interface improvements. And we've already got a chatter here. Hi, how's it going? So one of the next things that I wanted to work on was actually maybe let's change the orientation of this. So tonight I'm going to, today I thought about a way, there was another just little like glitch that you can encounter a bit of lag if you're trying to resize the user interface. So, oh, we already got a super chat tonight. Thank you to Sam for $1.99. And I guess that's a waving hand, or no, it's not a clapping hand. It's a waving. Thank you very much. So the thing we're going to work on tonight is, so I made it so it works pretty good with the concurrency, but an issue is if I send it a lot of signals, it lags quite a bit before it actually refreshes. So I think I can fix that lag. What it's doing actually is it's sending messages to the console writer thread. Yeah, it's sending these messages. But what it could do better than this. So in here, it's just checking if this screen update is outdated, basically. If this is a printing update that's occurred, if this update was rendered from before the screen updated or the frame resized, then it's just discarding it. But then what I can actually do is I can send this back another message, just like the one I do in the original notify message. And then in the user interface frame, I can just look at that and basically skip ahead, so it'll render the most current with the most current frame dimensions immediately. Discord gang. Usually I avoid politics, but there's a fight going on between Musk and Trump. It is funny AF. Yeah, that's I think it'll be interesting to see politically how people align themselves now, because there was a huge, like, the group of people that didn't like Elon or Trump, or they were usually there was a lot of overlap between those groups. So I wonder if we'll get like two factions. It'll be like the pro Trump, pro Elon people, and the people that don't like either of them. It'll be interesting to see how that evolves. I'm thinking about dabbling in Bash. Bash is pretty simple. Won't take more than a week. There's lots of weird things about Bash. It's kind of like not even a programming language. There's a few things that just always mess me up, like the significance of white space and stuff. And what was it? I think like multi-dimensional arrays or something. There's a whole bunch of constructs that like are kind of well defined in most programming languages, but in Bash it's a bit different. Pet says still going strong. I see. Yep. It's going to take more than a few days to raise enough funds for world domination. Wish you best of luck again. Thank you very much. Doing multi-dimensional array in Bash is crazy. I can't remember if it was multi-dimensional arrays or if it's just arrays in general. It's been a while since I had to do it. But there's lots of there's a number of things that are just really weird when you come from normal programming languages. I just want to build my own tools. I've used many hacking tools, but that's like if hackers were birds, with feathers plucked. Can't fly without feathers. I haven't really thought much about that. I wonder if there are any birds that can fly without feathers. Okay, wait, is this AI taking over the world? Not sure what you're referring to. Are you under the impression that this live stream is AI? In the future, I guess it could be. Galactic Pests says, hello, Robert. Elon Musk broke up with Donald Trump today. It's like a romance gone bad. Yeah, that'll provide lots of drama over the next, well, who knows, maybe it's all a distraction from something else. I know I heard there's some indications, I think, that well, not necessarily just indications, but I think the situation between Ukraine and Russia is really starting to heat up. I mean, the losses that they had the other night in Russia were pretty significant. So I don't know, maybe everything's a distraction from something else. Welcome. Trying to recoup Tesla losses. I don't have any investments, so I'm protected. Bats don't have feathers. Yeah, I guess that's true. I wonder if there are any birds, though, that can fly well without feathers. I'm sure there are. What's this code? This code is code for a terminal-based video game where you can simulate the process of mining blocks. And once I get it to compile in a second, then I'll show you. Should you ever plan on becoming a landlord? Once I have billions of dollars, then I can become a landlord. It's all about first acquiring that land. That's not good. That's weird. What's going on? That's why. Why not NeoVim? A number of people have recommended it. I tried NeoVim for 30 seconds once, and then I did not. It's like on the to-do list. The reason I would use it, the reason I go to it eventually would be to take advantage of the language server integration. But right now I'm in a. I have some milestones I want to meet, and I want to just get to those milestones and not spend time messing around with other things. There's a cost-benefit analysis of like learning new tools versus just working with the existing ones to actually produce real work. All right, that works. Looks better than last time I see this block simulation game. That's good. That means I'm making some progress. Yeah, I haven't actually like focused much on the game yet, but I've been doing a lot of work to just make the user interface a bit more like generalizable, so I can have different frames and they can have different threads in them, and they're all like independent and they write the same, shared interface through multi-threading and stuff. So once all that's finished, then I think I can actually start to build some of the more interesting stuff. Well, honestly, I'll probably pivot back to working more on like the networking stuff. But even that, I think, will maybe get more interesting. If I get the time for it, we'll see what happens. Let me think. So I did that refactoring, so I could do some other refactoring. All right, on-frame change. So I think it was this. This message. Yes, this returns. So this will now return. This will return a message. I'm just reading through your, trying to keep follow the chat. Sounds like what, Linus? I think I saw a thumbnail of someone who's talking about there was some drama in the Linux kernel. I didn't click on it though. Love the How I Became Dangerous short. I keep coming back to it. Masterpiece. Excellent. That was my goal. I wanted one of those ones you can watch a bunch of times. Hopefully it'll go viral and get 1 billion views eventually. Okay, this will console write work item. Work item results. Actually, I don't want to do that. Where'd you get your red fedora? It's from eBay. It was like the cheapest fedora that I could buy on eBay. Have you done any Java profiling yet? How many messages per sec have you got so far? I have on like a need to do basis. There was some tool called Visual VM or something when I originally started like investigating how to make the screen movement faster. I had to go into that and I actually had to do a bunch of stuff with I had to change the map types. So I was using maps. I was using like hash set and hash map and stuff. And I think I went to was it tree sets and stuff, and that substantially improve the lookups of that. Often I try to just write code that's like correct and slow, and then once it's correct, then I can kind of write some unit tests, and just the process of making it faster after that is a lot easier. Where'd you get the glowing Guy Fawkes mask? So that's just actually it was like a prop I bought for a video. Actually, I think it was quite a long time ago when I first started doing YouTube. I was like, I should just buy one of those Guy Fawkes masks. I'll probably use it at some point. And that ended up being the first time I used it. It's been sitting in a drawer for years. The glowing light is actually just an LED strip. So I also have also from eBay. You can just buy these like red 9-volt red LED strips. Or actually, they're not even like 9-volt. They literally come with like bare wires on the end of it. So it's just like it's like $2 for a strip of colored lights, and then on the end there's just bare wires, and they you can use from like 7 to 15 volts to run them. And then I have I also bought some like 9-volt battery termination things. So I didn't even bother soldering. I just like twist the bare wire on it, so I can and so like to turn it on, I just touch it on the 9-volt battery. And it actually took quite a few takes to get it right, because when I was doing that in the mask, I can't really even see, so I can't look at my monitor, and I can't tell what it looks like on film. So I had to do it a bunch of times, and then I think I might have had to like refilm that one like 3 times, and so it took like 50 takes or something to get something half decent. Because sometimes I was filming in vertical orientation, so sometimes I would be like a bit too far off to the side, so the camera would be like be cutting on my face half off. Should have figured, since you have DOI in your channel description. Yeah, I have a lot of embedded systems junk that I'd like to do more experiments with, but I have too many ideas, but not enough time to execute on them. How do you do the Irish goodbye at the end? What's the Irish goodbye? I think we're still talking about that shorts video I did. If you mean the how I became dangerous one, that's one. At the end of that, I'm just like I'm looking up on the park bench and stuff. I don't know what the Irish goodbye is, but I assume it's not that. An Irish goodbye is leaving quickly without saying anything. Probably when you end the stream. Oh, okay. So if you were to leave the camera without saying goodbye quickly. Awesome shorts, by the way. Thanks. Well, I guess I learned something about the Irish goodbye, but when you ask how do you do the Irish goodbye at the end, I don't know how to answer that. I don't know how that relates to that shorts video. I guess someone else said you probably mean the end of stream. Yeah, I guess that's not. I could have a more dramatic ending. Maybe I'll have some confetti and fireworks for the future. All right, this works. Now the next thing to do is actually send back the message. if you made a dating segment where you went on dates and approached the same way you did with your fiction with graphs, it would do very well. Yeah, I think I mean there's lots of ideas for content that I could do. I've thought about doing some stuff with like other people because it would be I think it would do well for content. It would also like it would just be like, you know, interesting networking and stuff. The thing is though, like the more I do this, the more I realize that a lot of people like there's a lot of people who like don't really want, like people are very self-conscious about how they're perceived and stuff. So a lot of people don't want to be on camera, and I'd have to. The most challenging thing would be like I don't want someone I want to like interview or film someone and then post something and then they get like angry at me and they're like, no, I want you to take that down and stuff, and so I'd have to figure out how to approach that well. I don't know. I guess there's lots of like random street interviews and stuff like that are becoming more common, but it's also yeah. I mean, it's also like when I go out and walk around here, there's increasingly like a lot of people are like recently arrived refugees and immigrants, and a lot of the social scene that I used to know here kind of doesn't exist. And I've also, I don't know, I'm kind of detached from it. Like if I was in school and I had a fresh social network, it would be kind of easier to tap into that. But there might be some like content creators of KW or something like that. I think I saw a meetup group for that a long time ago, but I don't even know if I'd have to research this. I've always thought at the end of streams was amusing. Catch me off guard, coding along, and suddenly it's late in stream. Oh, really? I thought I was relatively graceful, but oh well. I'll probably just continue that. I'd be like, well, live stream complete. No, I want to do the Irish goodbye and wondering how do you leave an empty chair at the end? Is it a delay? Oh, I have so the stream I guess I'm touch. That's the computer I'm coding on. This here's right now I'm touching the. I guess oh yeah, that's this here is that's what the chat is like right here, and the camera is about 5 feet that way, and then the streaming laptop is over there. So every time I end the stream, I have to physically walk up and click the end stream over there. How to get the editor window over the webcam? Oh, we didn't this here. So I it's just like layers in OBS. So the the camera is just sized to be a square down there, and so it's I found it was the most kind of efficient use of space. They just put it that way. You doing a collab would be so cool. Yeah, it'd be kind of fun to do more. I had thought about. I mean, before I'd like start doing collabs with other content creators and stuff. Like there's even some people that I know personally I wouldn't mind interviewing, but I just can't get caught up enough on all the random stuff I'm doing. Even the last week, like it's still just like we had the hearing, but then also just going back and forth with people, and then there was people in the building fighting with each other about stuff about the hearing, and I had went back and forth with some emails with the tenant board, and it's just every day I'm like, oh, today I have nothing to work on in that, and then it's just some new things that distracts me. But I will probably be able to get a bit caught up now. Hareth Rayan says, hello again. How's it going? IMO. Robert doesn't do an Irish goodbye since he says goodbye. Yeah, I thought it was a fairly graceful goodbye, but just view man in the streams the way you want. Yeah, I figured there's well, I don't know what the alternative would be. I guess there are a lot of people that they stream directly from the computer that's in front of them. One of the main reasons I can't, or I'd prefer not to, is this laptop I have here. This is the only laptop that the fan is not like blaringly loud on, and the one that's actually streaming over there, the fan is super loud, and that's even after I replaced the fan. Robert is a man of efficiency. I try to be, but I could still be more efficient. Simpler than I thought. You can extract media by using Wireshark and export objects from the captured data packets. Okay, I guess that's probably in reference to a previous conversation. Anonymous. Hey man, how are you? Not too bad. Personal interviews could be amazing. I hope when all the chaos clears, you have some time if you have to see it. Yeah, it would be. That is kind of the interesting and exciting thing about content creation. You can just I could just make anything and upload it to YouTube, and as long as it's interesting and people watch it, then it'll do well and bring in money. But yeah, it's a difficult call. There's tons of nonsense that I could put out there. But if I'm gonna do it, I should put a bit of time into it and do some editing and make sure the sound quality is good, stuff like that. But then if it's also just if I make one video and it gets 50,000 views or something, is that success? Is that worth doing, or is it just is it really moving the needle on anything? If you play a game and stream, you can do both entertainment and work at the same time. So you can't say it will be unproductive. If you play a game, I don't know, it's still not productive. Play GTA 4. Yeah, I'll probably won't do that. I'll just keep. I kind of prefer this. I mean, honestly, it's amazing. There's 29 people watching the stream now, and the fact that there's actually, I'm able to do, some really low grade productive activity. I think is yeah. If I could actually maintain this. I guess one option is I could even just stream more. Like if there's a few days there's been $0 of chat revenue, but then some days it's 30 to 100 or something. So if I streamed even more, if I just worked an 8-hour day and streamed doing this, then if that was sustainable, then maybe that could be a new growth strategy, because then I could actually get somewhere on this whole game idea. But of course, if I do that, then I'm not making videos. I'm not making viral videos to get 1 million views. So there's lots of cost benefit analysis. There's so many things that I could do and want to do, but which thing should I waste my time on? That's the question. It's easy, place an ad on Craigslist or whatever. Used to be transparent. Looking to film dates, analyze them for YouTube. I have over 1K followers. Great opportunity for exposure. Yeah, I would. There's some well, I don't know. The thing is Craigslist. I don't know what kind of people would be checking Craigslist. I'd kind of like to interact with other. Well, I guess it depends on what the content is, but ideally, I would like to meet. I like to interview and interact with some people that are like somewhat adjacent to STEM or technology, or I think like just kind of random members of the public. It'd be kind of difficult to for them to relate. But then I guess it'll be also, could do get people to like get like random strangers to rate the looks of like famous programmers or something. Get a picture of Richard Stallman, like a hot or not on a scale of 1 to 10 or something like that, with Richard Stallman and Linus Torvalds, and get all the John Carmack and all the famous programmers or something. I think for something like that, you could just go with the type. You could interview basically anyone, and it would be kind of interesting to see. It would be kind of interesting for programmers to see the perspective of programmers from a general audience or something. So I think that could be that kind of like a broad appeal. But then the other question is like, of course it gets views, but views doesn't, like, unless it makes $1 billion or something, it's not necessarily like, it doesn't produce anything for society. Maybe it gets like 100,000 views, but then what? Tokisaki says hello. Hello. Island Fest, stamp suspenders. Friday would be nice. Yeah, I've been trying to do a bit of that with. I got one shorts video out. We'll see if I can get more like that one. Should stream doing your cost-benefit analysis. Smash or pass programmers, sign me up. Lex Friedman. He has the amount of content he produces is incredible. What do you mean world domination? I mean taking over the entire world, and then I can fix all the problems that we have in society. Want to play COD? Not really. What is that? Call of Duty? I've never played that. These streams are awesome. Keep them coming. Excellent. Yeah, I second that question. Why are you crying? Okay. The next thing was, let's rearrange that. Now let's get the frame. Okay, that should send back. That should send back the correct update when possible. Thinking about buying a voice modulator for my desktop in August. Interesting. What would be the application for that? That's not good. Oh, maybe just lagging. Is it lagging? Maybe not. That's not good. It's not what it's supposed to do. Interesting. I subscribed. Excellent. Bro is so chill. Wow, I can't even read that. Gotta go. See you later. Imagine getting a call from an unknown number and hearing something from a nightmare. It's not cool. That's scary. So that was that test was not what I expected. I expected this to just work. Who's that behind you? I don't know. There's nobody behind me. Maybe I can say world domination if I intersperse 0 with spaces. I guess. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Oh, you know what? That might be because I didn't. I also need to add something to discard. So if we get a frame change item, but it's an outdated one. If it is less, YouTube otherwise likes to keep it out of top chat. World domination. You think the law would be forgiving if I made a fool out of predators? This is not the place to seek legal advice on that kind of issue. I always toggle all messages, not in favor of shadow comments. I thought about it, and I've decided to actually leave it on because I want people to be aware of censorship, and people do mention frequently that comments get filtered. And I also do need some moderation. So it's I kind of like the laziness of it, and I think it's kind of it's interesting to like embrace the censorship and just talk about it and learn about it. So I basically haven't had to ban anyone in a while now, except for there were some bots that came in. YouTube censorship algo is quite bad. It has a lot of false positives. Yeah, it's actually it's been quite revealing for people to mention when they're getting censored, with like someone was telling me about like doing Python -m or something, and when they use -m, that would get censored. I see vile comments all the time, but if you say something nice, it gets shadow banned. Worst part is the comment is visible to you, so you don't know it's hidden from others. Yeah, that's why I like having the chat in it, so that way, if you see it in your chat, but it's not in the on-screen chat, you know you're being censored. Autistic stoners. It sounds like you're proposing doing things that are probably not legal, so it's not a. I'm gonna have to tell people to not talk about stuff like that in the chat, because it's public on the internet. I also don't really want to attract other people who are into actually doing bad stuff. Memes and stuff about like Guy Fawkes masks and stuff are enough. The only way you can do that is if you distribute malware. Could easily end up in innocent people's PC. Yeah, I mean, if you said you're working on an ISP, I mean, that kind of discussion, that kind of conversation is really not the kind of thing I want to hear my ISP provider talking about. There's, I mean, if you want to pursue that kind of stuff, there are companies who like actually do that. There's a company here in Waterloo, I think Magnet Forensics or something. I've seen Catch a Predator. I know about that stuff, but I don't really. I know of that. I don't really care to watch that stuff. Recently found a person that I pair programs once a week. It's been awesome. Do you have any experience or thoughts on pair programming? I have at my first co-ops we did pair programming, and I really did like it. It was I do think it's I think when there's a big gap in knowledge between the two people, I think it's extremely it's extremely useful for knowledge transfer. People will be like, hey, why are you doing that? Like, you don't have to do this and whatever. Although over time, I think you can have because the knowledge transfer is so significant, it can kind of have diminishing returns. So once you kind of know everyone's shortcuts and habits and stuff, then I think the value goes down a bit after that. But I mean, I have noticed from streaming is basically pair programming. But I have 23 people here who will pick up my stuff and be like, hey, why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? And it's also you do get a bit of even if you're kind of stubborn, you will get people will constantly some new person maybe I'll ignore for example, people have recommended NeoVim a bunch of times, and I have not tried NeoVim, but there's still an endless supply of people that come in. They're like, hey, why don't you use NeoVim? And so I have to have a really good answer to that question. Okay, this might do what I want. That looks really crazy, but it's due to my long variable names. I'll start critiquing your code. Sure. I might ignore you, but if this when I was trying to set up the debugger and actually get this to run in IntelliJ, there's some people that came in and click this and do that, and they were able to read my mind about what I was trying to do, and they gave me the exact solution for setting that up. Java people really don't like string formatting. Yeah, I guess I don't really ever use the actually I don't even have it memorized, the string.format or whatever. I do appreciate you not banning my questionable questions. Where would be a good place for talking about such topics? I don't I deliberately avoid places that talk about those topics. I think there's tons of Black Hat forum stuff out there. I mean, there's a number of questionable things that you referenced, but I don't know. I'm sure there's tons of stuff on the deep web, and if you Google Black Hat forums and stuff, there's probably tons of that stuff. But there's also there's also weird people that hang out in those places, teenagers and stuff that just want to it's full of teenagers that are just asking each other how to hack, and they're here I'll send you this hacking tool, and then they just send each other malware. The process of building that stuff requires a lot of work and sophistication, and I think most people are sophisticated enough to build and execute on that stuff. Just use their talents toward working in industry and working within the law. And if you want to go into that kind of I think if I recall correctly, there was some like high profile guy the FBI was trying to get at, and I think Facebook actually Facebook has tons of talented people, so they just got someone at Facebook to basically find a 0 day in like some image library or something, and then they just made like a I think I read this on Hacker News. It was they just crafted some image with a 0 day in it, and then just served it in his feed, and was able to compromise this machine. And this is all done like with the blessing of the FBI to solve some specific case. So if you go through the proper channels and go to work for the right companies, then you can get paid at 9 to 5 to do that kind of stuff. When I moved to Python, I switched to formatting with plus operator. I began my first year at Waterloo for engineering. Any advice? That's a good question. You're doing engineering, you say. So do you have a cohort? So I was in software engineering, and we had a cohort system, so we were with the same kind of group of people. I would say for your it's probably lots of stuff I could say, but probably one of the most significant things would be try to put together a study group, or join the relevant we used to. This was back when people used Facebook a lot more. We had a Facebook group for everyone in our year. So I don't know, would it be like Discord or something now? So everyone's the class Discord channel or something like that. Something so that you can where there's some kind of it could include the whole class, or it could include a subset of people, where you can just say hey, I missed class today. What did we do in calculus or something? And setting up something where if you can do study groups together. I find it's the ideal thing is to be efficient with your time, because if you study all the time, you'll go crazy. So you need some social interaction. But if you can kind of combine, if you can have a study session where you meet up somewhere on a common area, or and instead of doing nothing, you just have sit around, eat some chips, drink energy drinks, and then study with other people, and set up some stuff like that. Aim to do that. NeoVim is trendy, but all the configs kind of make it harder to pair program. Must both take a lot of time setting up their environments. Yeah, I guess that's why I haven't gotten into NeoVim much yet. I've not taken a look at the config stuff at all. You should add gold to your game. You should also add a cave background for your game. It is on the to-do list to actually add a separate layer of a color, so you can actually see you have a little bit of 3D in it. But that's I need to fix the UI first. Man has a red fedora in his videos and gets surprised when people with red hat mentality shows up in here. Red hat mentality? What specifically do you mean by red hat mentality? Linux attracts all sorts of people. Okay, let's fix that error. I think I spelled every one of those wrong. A red hat hacker is a term used to describe a hacker who uses their skills for what they consider to be a just cause, often targeting black hat hackers or individuals they perceive as malicious. Oh, okay. I'm familiar with the term. Yeah, I guess I never really thought about the term red hat in the context of I know there's white hats, black hat hackers, white hat hackers, gray hat hackers. Is it not heard of the term red hat used in that way? I'm approaching college, and I think I'm going to do my majors as software engineering, possibly my major law. What school would you recommend in the coming years should I apply to? I would say I don't have a specific name for a school, but I would say for the program that you want to study, do Google searching to find out what school has the highest chance of you getting a job after you graduate. And the other thing is look into what if they have an internship or a co-op program. That in my opinion, that should be the defining feature about whether you choose to pursue a given school or not. Because ultimately, there's tons and tons of schools out there that basically just rob you and make you pay tons of money for years, and then you graduate and you have some degree, but you don't you're not really in a position to make enough money to even pay it off. But if you in my opinion, my undergraduate degree set me up in a very good position, which I unfortunately did not take advantage of because I decided to stay in Canada and start a business. But if I had left Canada and accepted some full-time offers, I would have done extremely well. Now contrast that with some people, some of the, diploma mill colleges that are around here all over the place in Canada. There's a lot of those people who are spending insane, especially the international students, are spending insane amounts of money, and it's just like a debt trap. They're some of them are it's ruining their lives. So I would say to do the research about which college, university, a degree that you're considering has the highest employment rates. And hopefully the school has some stats on that. I know Waterloo has, they publish employment statistics and stuff. So if that stuff is not available, then you can try to find information on Reddit or something, or such a thing as Blue Hat too. Search average graduate salary, degree cost. Yeah, that can be a little bit simplistic and possibly misleading, because it's easy to find, it's easy to just throw out numbers. And I don't know, I think there's a trend to be software engineers make these crazy huge salaries and stuff, but the distribution is can be really wacky, and it also depends if you graduated, when I graduated, if I had gone to work at Facebook and then managed to, or even I would graduate a couple of years earlier and then went to Facebook, I could have, there's a few people in those early positions probably would have made, engineer 6 level or something, and they're making $800,000 a year or something with benefits. But then when the music stops and they stop hiring those people, then maybe you go there and you expect to have the same upward movement, but actually maybe you're the lowest ranking engineer for you have to stay at the lower levels for longer, and now there's more office politics, so you can't get up into those management positions and stuff. So I'd say focus on like some basic, like what think of it the other way. What is the probability that you'll go and get that degree and you will not be able to find a job? If that probability is like 2% or something, then you're probably right. But if like 60% of people get that degree and then don't get a job in that field, that's a huge red flag, I think. 6 hats: black, white, gray, red, blue, and green. I never heard of green hat. Entry level's dead. Cost benefit doesn't make sense for most budgets. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the job market. I hope the world calms down and things stop going crazy and collapsing and everything. Green is newbie? Oh, okay. Your degree advice sounds wise. Yeah, I would say the highest quality would be like kind of anecdotal stuff that's not biased. So, honestly, these days, I think Reddit is full of like a lot of political bots and stuff like that, and like astroturfing. But at the same time, like if you say like whatever program, like if I wanted to look for information, is just do a Google search for, like, let's see, I was considering Waterloo software engineering. I would type in reddit.com site reddit.com Waterloo software engineering degree useless, can't find a job, and then just Google that, and if you find like thousands and thousands of comments of people who are like, man, I got this software engineering degree at Waterloo and it's totally useless. It's like, it's didn't teach me anything and it's terrible, and like employers won't even consider me and stuff like that. Now, having said that, I'm pretty sure the opposite is true. It's Waterloo is still one of the best ones, but there's other, like Conestoga College is getting a lot of hate right now. So if you do the same kind of search for a given, if you type reddit.com Conestoga College degree, can't get a job, I think you'll find a lot more results for that. Now, having said that, having personally taught at the college, I think it really depends on the program you go into. Like there's stuff like specific stuff like training for certain trades and stuff where there's kind of no equivalent, like how to be a lineman that works on you do like repairs on the hydro wires and stuff, like working for the hydro company. I don't think there's any. You could study like electrical engineering, which you'd probably learn about that stuff, but you still wouldn't learn like the training about how to be a lineman, the safety equipment you need and stuff like that. And so things like that, you may still have a very high employment rate, even if it's at the college. But there's other stuff like, they have so many programs there, like, I don't know, culinary services or something like that, or purple. There's purple hat too. Oh, interesting. Thank you for the advice. I hope a couple of years. that advice could help me get into college. No problem. WTF are you doing? I'm working on building a terminal-based video game where you simulate the process of mining blocks. And I'm trying to make it more efficient. And I may have actually succeeded. So right now I'm trying to have an issue where when I resize, sometimes it's really slow. Nice, this looks like it'll work. Uh-oh, that's not good. I wonder if that's a glitch. I got some weird stuff going on with the menu. AI will kill entry level in a lot of professions, which will lead to lack of experienced people. Yeah, that is kind of true. After a decade or two, the seniors will retire. What happens if you turn on monetization? I turned it off because I have the chat in it and I can't control the chat. And I've heard if you end up getting like a video flag, if you flag it as monetizable and then something happens in it, causes it to get demonetized, then it hurts the channel overall. I think I shouldn't enter college in other countries because passports are really expensive, and even if I were to go to Waterloo, I would probably have trouble adjusting to life in Canada. Yeah, you have to do research on your local, what's the best place locally for you. Fascinating bug, it's your game single-threaded? It's multi-threaded. What are you doing? I'm working on the this terminal-based block mining game. Do you know that you can do what about the computer? At least in the US, as far as I'm aware. I guess that is, as you say, that is kind of random. Multi-threaded. The amount of people entering the job market versus jobs available, plus experienced people looking for a new job. Yeah, it's a strange job market, and the I don't know, we don't know if we're going into recession or not. We've been on the verge of recession for years. right. I wonder if that's just due to the weirdness with the menu. I got some kind of weird bug where the menu keeps appearing. It's not supposed to do that. I kind of don't want to undo that recent change because that was a bit of work to think about. I'll leave that for now. And hopefully that other weird issue goes away. Yeah, it's already too powerful, and we don't want to feel the fire. It's just going to get more powerful. Let me think. That bug still that kind of bugs me. It is getting a bit faster though now. Interesting. That might even be a bug. In this thing itself. Oh, interesting. It thinks it's the wrong size. Do you intend to add lore to the game? Because if you do, I could possibly help you with character names. Yeah, I have, honestly, like, in my opinion, like the kind of narrative, the narrative aspect of the lore is not particularly interesting to me, but I know it's very interesting to some people. So if I actually get, you know, a functioning game, then I could definitely add some of that stuff. But I'm still a ways away from that. Got your raid nearby. What do you mean by that? Raid is in like pest? Like the stuff you spray on bugs? Lore of world domination? Yeah, there's lots of themes that could be put into it. Read Shadow Legends? I don't quite know what was meant by that question. Got your raid nearby? You said, oh, you said you got a bug? No, different kind of bug. During rapid resizing, the layout manager may not have sufficient time to compute and apply the sizes for the component is queued for the size, leading to inconsistent or outdated values. So that's literally the thing I'm refactoring right now. So I had it what I had before was it would when I send when I move it, if I like drag when I drag this thing around, it would send like 50 resize events. And what was happening was all of the frames would come back, but some of them they would process through all 50 frames, and then it was trying to update a bunch of times. And what the thing I added yesterday was a thing to discard frames that are out of date. So when it goes, the console writer thread tells the frames re-render yourself, and then when it comes, the frame render comes back, it checks to make sure that's still up to date. And if the size has changed since it if the ID number of the change set, the dimensions change, is different from what it currently is, it discards that update because it knows there's a new update coming with the actual correct size. And one of the things I added was, instead of just rejecting it, I made it send back a message saying like, actually, here's the new dimensions. And the goal of that was to hopefully make it able to basically make it skip forward to say, okay, it's out of date, so get the most current dimensions, and it wouldn't just re-render the scene like 50 times and waste a bunch of time in that thread. It would technically work. It was that version was working pretty good. Like it was working. It was rendering very correctly. It would just take a long time if you send a lot of update events. But I decided to try and make it even smarter. But it looks like there's that maybe introduced another bug. Because now I'm also discarding some of these frame change updates. This should, I think, always accept the most up-to-date one. I'll put resize events in a buffer, and then pull from that heavier buffer. So the resize events go into a blocking queue. So the thread, it reads continuously. There's no polling. It just so it just does like while read a message, process message, and then just goes back in the loop. Or actually, it reads from a blocking priority queue. So that way I can also add prioritization to messages if I need. All right, gonna go. Have a good night. Let's see. I wonder if it's related to if the queue is unbounded, you could be overflowing with many. It doesn't. If it overflows, it will throw a stack trace. It'll crash the program. I think of some just like hard-coded max. So like if it gets 10,000 items or something, it just crashes and says, this is probably an issue. What's in the cup? It is, I think, Earl Grey tea. Interesting. That is interesting. It thinks it's not getting the event for size update. It just it literally thinks the map area is smaller. Too cheesy? I guess by definition, since you included cheese in the message itself. What about forcing the ratios? Then having a setting to toggle between known working window size dimensions. So there is a specified ratio. There's something wrong with it's missing one of the events or something. You actually pull window size. I know what his trade-offs. I'm emotionally invested in this bug. I could probably even just make it go away entirely by if I do false and so it'll just always set this. And then I have to do if I stop doing this, then that what it'll do, this will process every single one of those frame resize events. But I'll demonstrate in a minute why I was trying to fix that. Because if you have a frame that takes a long time to process, then it has to process like 10 billion of those resize events. So I think this one will work. See the difference? So it's doing them all correctly. It's fine, just do a bunch of those. Now they're all rendered, so it's every single one of those threads is rendering the scene 5 billion times and sending it, trying to print it, and then it's like, nope, that's out of date. So now it's correct, but it lags. And the smarter thing was just like, instead of letting the thread re-render the scene 5 billion times with the wrong information, just send back the current size, and then render the scene with that. you think after you've done with the code, you would name main character Zachary? I thought of it and I think it would fit as a character. It would also be a woman character, Madison. I think that should be the two main characters. Madison would be another character selection for people who want to play as a woman. Yeah, I personally, I would say these are questions that I personally don't think about at all in building stuff like this, but I know other people are like really into like the role play aspect of the games and like the narrative design and stuff. I was always the person who, when I played games, I used to hate when the characters would talk and I didn't care about any of the characters' names or the lore or something. And I would always just spam the key to like get the players to talk. And I couldn't stand the scenes where people were talking and stuff. And that became a problem because the characters would say like what the objective is and I wouldn't read it. I would just want to like run off and play. So I wouldn't be able to, there's a few games where I was just never able to progress past a certain point because I didn't actually read what the characters were saying. And they were just like, go to the secret hatchway, and I would never be able to find it. But I do think it would be, I know it's an important aspect for people. And yeah, I mean, if I can get the UI working, I think it would also be interesting, like if you could like, there was a panel to like, I don't know, you could pick up like books or something in the game. Like so a book would drop, and then you can just you could select it in your menu and in one of the frames over here or something. Because I now have a fairly robust framing system. I could have like something for reading a book. I'd make a great CIA interrogator. I can understand the same. I can withstand the same song for hours, if not days. And I'll dance to it to make it off-putting. I hate people who hack into PC games. All I want is play GTA or RDR without someone thinking they're funny. There's a type of people who don't get any, if you catch my drift. Sure. Those are some random things to say. I have no arguments. Is this code public on GitHub? Yes, it is. If you go down to the description, there's a link to the GitHub. I think it's the changes that I added tonight. I'll probably add those I'll probably push those tonight or tomorrow. So that works, but it has problems. It's possible that the other one also, yeah, like it's possible that the really laggy version also has problems. But maybe they just don't manifest. Is this an 8-bit game? Because right now my brain is thinking of Super Mario Bros. Music for the game. I know that can't happen because of copyright, but a soundtrack would be fun. Yeah, it sounds possible, but at this time it's not a priority. what other software do you have? What do you mean by software do I have? I've written lots of blog posts and stuff like that, but I have no, there's no other commercial software that I have for sale. Eight-bit game. I guess, well, 8-bit, generally when people talk about, like, if it's an 8-bit thing, I think they'd be referring to, like, old, well, I think, were they even were 8-bit games run on 8-bit CPUs? That almost seems hard to believe, but if you're calling it 8 bits, it would imply it runs on some aspect of it is 8 bits. But anything on a modern computer is generally going to be 64-bit. The style, it's like the graphics mode is very primitive, so it's basically like the equivalent of yeah, I guess you could probably call it like 8-bit graphics. It runs in, well, we can, let's go back here. So right now I'm in, like, this is a general purpose graphics display. So it can, the game would actually support, like, Chinese characters and stuff if you render them. But if I do, let's do, I guess you can kind of see that. So this is on, oh, that's too bad. It's not rendering. The display on this is kind of messed up. If I go to the, oh, it's still not rendering the way I want, but sometimes it works. I don't know why it's only giving me a subset of the screen there, but anyway. I should have changed the okay, that's a bit better. So this is the extremely restricted version. So if you were in a restricted graphics mode, so what it does is every block is just the first letter of the class name. Awesome. I'd love to contribute in some way. If you're open to public contribution, for now, I'm not gonna. I won't invite public contributions. I would consider, if I could get more money, it would make sense to maybe hire someone. But for like general free, I think the ideal thing would be to make it so it's like people can like build their own plugins or something, or build upon it in their own way. Is your video about this game? You showed a version running in ASCII. I might have showed that. I forget. I have a couple videos about this. What is Patient Turtle? That was you're probably looking at my GitHub repo. There was some project I did. I think it was, what did I call that? Oh, I think that might have been the Raspberry Pi slow motion project. I just picked a random name for it, and I was thinking about developing it more, but it was one of those projects where I had grand ambitions and just never got around to doing more. This is the one I was thinking about. This graphics mode, you mean? It's too bad the screen is messed up, because it should display the whole thing, but it's only displaying part of the screen. It's nice to see that it actually works. How long have you been working on this game? It depends how you count. Probably like over a year, but I mean, I first started it quite a while ago, but then I had like long sessions of like almost a year that I didn't work on it. And then the last 6 months, I think I didn't do any development on it since November because I had other stuff to do. And then I think I picked it up. Well, I've been doing it every single day now for 42 days. But before that, it was November, I think. Probably a dumb question, but does it run on something like a Dell R610 running Ubuntu? It probably would. I've been developing on Ubuntu. There might be some issues with the build process or something, but oh, that was weird. It just crashed. Let's see now what to do about the weird rendering bug. So this version doesn't have the glitch at all. Seems like you're getting more concurrent viewers now. Yeah, it was kind of consistently up at around 30 today. I don't know, I think YouTube it like rate limits you or something. Like there's like a moving average in your growth, I think. But yeah, I think because I've been streaming more, it just like slowly rewards you. I guess if I did this every day, maybe it would actually grow even more. But we'll see. This is all just part of an experiment. I may kind of get through this main push of development on this block mining game, and then I may stop the daily streaming at some point. the fame getting to your head? Are you getting out of speeding tickets? Not yet. Honestly, revenue is down. Yeah, I'll feel more famous once the revenue goes up. Honestly, the channel is getting less views overall, so I actually kind of feel the opposite. My around Christmas time, that was the peak, but now I've fallen off. It's a door into learning Python, if you don't mind. Rather ask the artist's permission, and I do mean art. I'm not sure what you're referring to by that, but door into learning Python. I think that because you're doing daily streams, this game will be finished way faster than if you work on it weekly. Yeah, I definitely I feel like I've made a lot more progress as well. Doing it every day, the main advantage is when I sit down, I immediately know what I'm going to do and like where it is in the files and stuff. That's one of the biggest issues with doing infrequent software development, is just going back onto an old project and like spending one day trying to figure out how to do something and realizing, oh, this is the wrong way to do this, and then the actual way is like just one line. So let's find something. Patient turtle is Python. Oh, that GitHub repo. I think that was maybe I can't remember. That was a project I did like 5 years ago or something, or probably more. I think that was one for Raspberry Pi projects. It might not even be possible to get that working anymore because it relied on some Raspberry Pi stuff that I don't know if it works anymore. Oh, it's still there. Check out. Oh. Always better ad revenue around Christmas. You'll see YouTubers upload much more frequently. I noticed this phenomenon a few years ago. Yeah, it also, it goes with, in order for your video to get a view, you need a viewer. And if you just think of it from a purely, like from the consumption standpoint, how many hours per day does the average person spend watching YouTube, like at any given time? There's certain times when, like, for example, I think right now is probably one of the worst times because kids are still in school and it's summer, so you, like in the evenings, once it gets cold and miserable, you have no choice but to watch YouTube. So there's more people who are forced to stay indoors and watch ads and click on them. I've also been working on a terminal application with your favorite language, Rust. It's so exciting to see features get integrated. Who is winning UEFA National League, Portugal or Spain? I don't even know what that is. UEFA. It's a terminal text editor called a polytype application that layer several buffers. At Christmas, more companies are competing for those eyeballs at that time, and more people are inside in winter. Yeah, it's the prime time. Being in the media business is a boom and bust cycle. Interesting. It thinks the size of the window is only 1. And that's why it's not updating. That is interesting. Maybe that can be the root of the problem. You got 2 internet connections? Nope. During July and early August, they upload more because kids are on summer break. And events like Juneteenth, Independence Day. Yeah, there's certain times a year when it's definitely prime time for. But then again, it's difficult to make everything come together because you need to actually make the content and publish it around that time, and the YouTube algorithm will reward you for, like, I don't know, the first week or something. You'll get a lot of views, and then there's also like the trends, whether the content itself is trending, and let's see. I'm 6th in XP on your channel. Interesting. I don't know. I didn't. Now 5th? I didn't know there was a. I didn't know you could get XP on channels. Is there like a leaderboard somewhere? Interesting. I'll have to look into this feature. I didn't even know that feature existed. Congratulations. You're fourth? I got two, the main one. The one I use for a Wisp Tower. Oh, there's an XP counter at the top of chat. It's like an engagement. Booster engage. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, so it's just like a for the current session. Interesting. I was also the first here, not to brag. That is true. He was the first one here. I like this feature. It encourages chatting. It's fun to compete. Yeah, it's like that. I guess that must be the part of the recent thing with the number one and number two. That's only been there like a week or so. Press the community button at the top chat. I think the leaderboard is hiding there. Yeah, I'll go do that now. I have to stand up and check it. Interesting. That's a neat new feature. It's another thing to gamify everything and get people hooked on YouTube even more. Get people even more addicted to social media. I'm surprised people are taking the leaderboard seriously, but I really shouldn't be. Last time the headphones came off, the band hammer came out. Not this time. Honestly, the chat has been kind of surprisingly pleasant. So that's where map area change comes from. I honestly think CPO of the new YouTube, CEO of YouTube, was one of their best decisions. Honestly, I think this community is one of the best on YouTube. I haven't seen the ban hammer yet. Oh, thank you. You have a very charitable interpretation of everyone here. I'm pleasant, but shady. Yeah, you do say some shady things. Hopefully, you behave yourself and don't violate any laws. Also, the last time you took his headphones off, it was in stream. I downloaded Patient Turtle. I've never seen such clean code. Yeah, I think actually a lot of that code was I don't even know if you can really do much with that code, but a lot of the code is actually kind of based on around the same time. I wrote a blog article called "Why is it so hard to detect key up event on Linux?" I think that's the title. It's how to detect a key up event on Linux. If you just Google that, there's not a lot of information, and I have an extremely long blog post on that specific topic about how to detect key up and the challenges with it, and some of the polling code and stuff like that is ripped from there. Just tried the game, would play for hours. That's impressive. It's in terms of actual gameplay, there's been actually very little work put into the gameplay. I've just been trying to work on the kind of base engine for presenting stuff. But if I can get some of these weird issues figured out with the map area display, then the UI is going to be really solid and really performant. Why not just hold live classes on the things you know, build up a curriculum and mark assignments? I think Linux, Java, and LVGL nerding out. Yeah, I don't know. The question would be like, what's the revenue model, and I think classes are for just there's the educational aspect of teaching, which is like just conveying the information. For that, I think it makes sense to have very highly polished videos that just explain a topic well. And the other aspect of teaching is the kind of more one-on-one feedback and stuff, which kind of is like what I can provide in chat, just like a conversation to say like, no, do this or that. And those are kind of different services, I think, to provide. A normal classroom does both, but were you a professor before? Because I swear, one of the videos I said that. Yes, I was a professor at a currently not so reputable college. So not quite the same thing as a university professor. They're a lot more higher standards, but I did teach for a couple of years, part-time. It'd be just a little homebrew club. You could just live stream information, conveyance with the feedback. I could, but yeah, the question is all about can it generate revenue, and what kind of compounding growth can it have in the long term? Now, if I can figure out why this thing is not actually, seems like it's not getting the updates for the last frame update. nice. We got a super chat. A random game developer appears briefly with a parcel of well wishes. Thank you very much. YouTubers have done online course to Oblivion. Literally one of the first ads on YouTube was, I'm here in my garage. Yeah, there's no shortage of things that can be done, but it's a cost-benefit analysis on what's worth wasting time on. Definitely piqued my interest in LVGL. I don't know what that stands for. LVGL. My blogs contain vulgar language, depending on what I'm writing about. I used the C word over 20 times before changing it. It was about a Karen. Well, it must not be a lot of technical knowledge in those blog posts then. Teaching and learning is so last year. I think in the future, the way we teach is going to change substantially. Linux Visual Graphics Language. Oh, question mark. Yeah. It's my photography blog. So theoretically, this should send the right dimensions. Brainfart VLSI, very large scale integration. At least you can say you know a colorful blogger. I guess so. Although it's not frequent that I find the need to say that. Do you recommend to go for the academic PhD degree, or is it a waste of time? I would say do a lot of research on I think a lot of people have like a romanticized idea of like a master's or a PhD. I think it's becoming, broadly speaking, it's becoming increasingly less valuable. And there's also a lot of like predatory, like hyper competitive stuff in the academic route. And if you get the wrong, I think it's really about your PhD advisor. So your PhD advisor, or whoever's like, above you, can make or break the significance of what you do. So if they want to give you a hard time, then they can really waste. It all depends on the institution and stuff. And if I were you, I'd watch. There's a bunch of YouTube videos about like. I've never done a PhD, obviously, but I think if you know how the sausage is made and know how that, if you know how you can be abused and end up wasting a lot of time doing a PhD, then you might be equipped to kind of navigate that system and make it out well. Because clearly, I think it's good for some people to do PhDs in society, but there's definitely a lot of people who waste a lot of time, and it depends on the institution you do it at and who you do it under. Chip package analysis. Yeah, I have a few videos on that I think are pretty good, but they don't get many views. Learning still in. Why would people pay for something? 1,000 channels teach for free. Go to school for the degree, not for the knowledge. I mean, for money, and I like to be an engineer more than academic side. I would say if you're if you want to make money, probably getting a PhD is not the optimal strategy. And if you did, I would say get an undergraduate and then start working and making money and getting job experience. And if you go work somewhere, if you're working in a domain that can like sponsor you or something and maybe pay for your master's or whatever, then you could do that. But if anyone ever asked, is there a doctor? I'd show up and say, where is the system in need? Yep. So next time there's someone on a plane that needs a doctor, you'd be like, I'm a doctor. And then they'll be like, okay, help this man. He's having a heart attack. I'd be like, I'm not that kind of doctor. I say paid courses. I could do that. I prefer like for the lecture content and stuff like that. I prefer to just make higher quality stuff and then put that out for free as just like growth and marketing. You should enter in indie game festivals when you're done with coding. Some game companies attend and they may like your work. Maybe. Honestly, I don't really even consider myself part of the official game dev community. I don't really have any interest in like Steam and all that kind of stuff. End says HLO. I'm from India. I'm from India. I'm from India. You said that 3 times. I may actually go ahead and do one of those, what do you call it, Irish goodbyes? Maybe we should make a point of doing even more abrupt Irish goodbyes. My dream is to make a best CPU in the world. Excellent. I have a video on that. You should take a look at my video on how to make CPUs. All right. Have a good night, everyone.